Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniel Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniel Show.
You're listening to The Tom Daniel Show, and I am your host, Tom Daniel. Do you ever catch yourself listening to a song and thinking, where did this even come from? I think it happens to all of us and makes you want to dig a little deeper. You know, what are the roots of this sound? Where did it all begin? Well, that's what I'll be doing in this episode of The Tom Daniel Show, and maybe I can help you unpack something you might have taken for granted and give you a different perspective on some of your favorite songs by making a very bold statement to start with. American music is Southern music. I'm a happy guy. I like being optimistic, and I like talking about happy things, and the South is one of my favorite topics. I do get dismayed when I see people keep falling into that same trap of only wanting to talk about the years 1861 to 1865. Good grief, folks. There are 400 years of Southern culture to celebrate. Why do people keep limiting themselves to just 4 of them? And my favorite Southern topic is Southern music. I love talking about Southern music. Now, many people probably refer to it as American music, but actually American music is Southern music. Now, this isn't just a casual observation or a naked attempt at cultural cheerleading, but it is a solid claim based on hard facts. Have you ever thought about that? Almost every genre and style of American music that you can name is actually Southern. And there are so many of them that it's not even fair. I mean, if the South had contributed 4 or 5 genres to American music, well, that would be one thing. But the South contributed almost all of them. Think about it. Try to identify these genres of American music. Rock and roll? Well, that's Memphis. Obviously jazz, and obviously New Orleans. Oh yeah, that's the blues, and it comes from Mississippi. Well, country music is obviously Southern. That comes from Tennessee. Bluegrass music, again, obviously Southern, comes from Kentucky. Rhythm and blues, well, that's back to New Orleans again. Soul music, and back to Memphis again. funk, that's Georgia.
Check. Check. Check.
Trap, yep, that's also Georgia too. Well, Cajun is obviously Louisiana. Tejano music comes from Texas. Zydeco, and again, that's Louisiana. Spiritual music, that comes from all over the South, from the southern plantations.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Gospel music is the same, southern plantations. Barbershop? Yep, even barbershop. It's from New Orleans. Almost every significant genre and style of iconic American music you can name comes from the South. There are literally dozens of them, and they didn't just pass through the South. They didn't just kind of, glance off the edges and pick up some things from the South. No, they all came from deep within the South and were born from authentic ingredients of Southern culture. Think about rock and roll, for example. Rock and roll is actually a blend of two different styles of music, country and rhythm and blues. And both of those are Southern. Well, then what about rhythm and blues? R&B is a combination of jazz and blues and gospel mixed together. And all three of those are Southern as well. And the exact same thing happens when you break down bluegrass music or Tejano music or Cajun music. They are all blends of unique, iconic Southern cultural ingredients to make that Southern sound, which is something that I like to call the Southern cadence. And what about the subgenres? Jazz, for example, that's a pretty big umbrella. I mean, there's a lot of styles within jazz. There's ragtime, boogie woogie, swing, Dixieland, and all of those are Southern too. Underneath the umbrella of rock and roll, well, you've got rockabilly, you've got swamp rock, and Chicano rock, and blues rock, Southern rock, death metal. All of those are Southern. In country music, there's outlaw country, honky-tonk, Appalachian, hick-hop, bluegrass, coal mining, classic Nashville. And all of those are Southern as well. So even when you get deep into the subgenres, you're going into more and more Southern music. You're listening to The Tom Daniels Show, and we'll be right back.
What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show.
Welcome back to The Tom Daniels Show, and thank you, Mary Mack, the world's most perfect band. And we're talking about how American music is actually Southern music. Now, I realized that as soon as I said that almost all of American music is Southern, many people felt naturally challenged to see if they could think of something that's not Southern. Of course you can. Of course you can think of some examples. How about surfing music? That's definitely not Southern. Rap music? Nope, that's not Southern. Or Tin Pan Alley. All right, I'll give you those. None of those are Southern. Now, come up with about 40 more significant genres of American music that aren't Southern, and then we'll talk. Southern music also could not have come from anywhere else except the South. It's not like England was going to invent rock and roll, and we just happened to beat them to it. Rock and roll could only have come from the American South of the 1950s. Even though British musicians make pretty good rock musicians, Britain does not have native country music or native rhythm and blues music, which are the ingredients of rock and roll. So they couldn't have invented rock and roll. And one of the most satisfying things to me about Southern music is that there is no other American alternative, or even worse, a replacement. Because trust me, if New England had music of their own, they would have shoved it down our throats a long time ago, and Southern music would be extinct by now. So that's why I love to celebrate Southern music every chance I get. And many Americans make that same mistake with music that they make with everything else, and that's try to divide it up into black and white categories, literally. They don't see it as Southern music. They see it as either black music or white music, but that is not accurate. It's Southern music. It's cross-cultural Southern music. Think about a plate of food. If somebody has a plate of greens, black-eyed peas, cornbread, most Americans would look at that plate and say, oh, well, that's black food. You got some soul food right there. Well, no. To a Southerner, that's not soul food. That's Southern food. Everybody down south eats that food. It's a cross-cultural experience that all Southerners enjoy. Music is the exact same thing. It's not black music or white music in the South. It's Southern music. Now, by the way, my wife and I attended the Iowa State Fair several times in the 90s when we lived in Ames, Iowa, and there was always an enormous display of food in the agriculture building. That's the building where the famous butter cow is always located. Anyway, the first time we went, there was a large exhibit of different cultural foods, such as Mexican food, Japanese food, Chinese food, Indian food, and so forth. And then we saw a display that caught our attention. It was an arrangement of peas, collards, turnip greens, cornbread, and chitlins. And the display sign identified it as ethnic food. Ethnic food. I called out to my wife and said, hey, honey, we're an ethnic group. Southern music is created from a collaboration, cooperation, and definitely mutual respect of the musicians. It is a blend of cultural ingredients, just like practically everything else is in the South. Southerners freely borrow and swap ideas back and forth to get all those unique, iconic, blended sounds, and that process can never work if things are divided. And that's what makes Southern music so fantastic. The music is all about the people and the culture of the South. That's why I love talking about Southern music. Now go back and think about the music you love and the artists you listen to all the time, and consider their potential Southern origins and Southern influences that are woven into their sound. It's a fascinating thread to start pulling, and you might discover you've unraveled a whole universe you never realized existed. And if Southern culture is so deeply embedded into what we think of as an American sound, what does that say about overall American cultural identity as a whole? Thank you, everybody. This has been the Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Take a break from your usual routine. Tune in to the Tom Daniels Show. You'll discover the world of melodies and stories that you might not know. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for?